5 brutal mistakes you could be making with your personal brand and how to fix them. I'm going to destroy everything you think you know about personal branding and give you some tips right now on what you can change. If you've been posting for the last 12 months or maybe the last 2 years, or you've bought the light ring, I was just about to show mine, but I've got it up there. You've learned Canva, maybe you've hired a photographer as well. But here's what's actually happening. You get about 10 likes and maybe 2 of those, 3 of those, 5 of those are from your family. Or maybe you just feel invisible at work and you want to be more visible. Or maybe someone that's a competitor that's half your age with half your experience has got their dream opportunity, and you start to think, "Oh, personal branding, it's just for influencers." But here's the thing, it's not. You may be making mistakes that could be hampering your future. So what do I mean by that? I spent the last 15 years working on my own personal brand, working with more than 2,500 entrepreneurs and employees to help them fix the mistakes with their personal brands. Some have gone from 200 followers to 50,000 in 18 months. One client grew her LinkedIn account just recently by 1,334% in 4 months. That's insane. We love these kind of results. Others have landed TEDx speaking gigs and just more clients and more visibility and more job opportunities. So the difference is they stopped doing these 5 things. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call out each of these mistakes and show you exactly how to fix it. So by the end of this video, you've got a really clear roadmap on what you could be doing to be working on your personal brand. Give this a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video and you think it is adding value. So the first mistake that I think you could be making to be sabotaging your brand is you're a walking Wikipedia page. So what do I mean by that? Your LinkedIn reads like a job description. That's even if you've updated it recently. Maybe your bio lists every accreditation or every certificate that you've won, and you talk about what you do but not what you believe in, and it's not personal at all. And I think that's the whole space of you don't need to share everything and share what you had for breakfast. The whole thing is, though, you need to share something. So Nike doesn't say we make shoes, they say just do it. And the same with Apple. Apple doesn't say, hey, come and buy a computer from us. They're all about think different. So your brand isn't what you do, it's what you stand for. And that comes across through how you communicate that through the stories that you tell. So how to fix it. I want you to write down this thing. I believe that. And if you can't finish that in the next 10 seconds, then you don't have a brand that's worth remembering. You've got a business card. So what do you believe in your industry that others don't? Write that down. Mistake number 2. You're terrified of other people's opinions. Guilty, that was totally me. I would say pretty much for my entire career in the fashion industry, I was worried about what my peers might say or maybe weren't saying. And I think I tried to be everyone's cup of tea, but it wasn't until I left that I really realized that you can't be everything to everyone. And I think you've really got to think about yourself is being liked by everyone. It's impossible. You don't like everyone, and that's okay. So you might be thinking that you're sounding like a politician, or maybe not, or maybe you're just playing it too safe and too bland. So here's what you need to understand. The biggest brands in the world really have sort of polarizing opinions. The Tesla, Starbucks, maybe even in the fitness world, CrossFit, for example. They've got raving fans, but they've also got vocal haters. And that's not a bug, that's a real feature. So if everyone agrees with you, then you're going to fail. And I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk who often talks about this as well. You know, you can't be everything to everyone. Your ideal client are the ones that think, finally, someone who gets me. That's what you want them to think. So what do you agree or disagree with in the industry? I had Marissa Peers on my podcast, and I loved that she went into therapy and talked about in detail why you shouldn't be in therapy for years. Now, she's in therapy, but she believes that you don't need to be in it for years. Here, check this out. So mistake number 3 is posting like it's 2010. Yes, I was on Instagram then. And what do I mean by that? You treat social media a little bit like a museum. Your posts are perfect, or you're too scared to post in case they aren't perfect. And that actually says, nothing about you as a human being. Maybe you use stock pictures. Maybe you don't use your face. Maybe it's over filtered. I talk about that in my book, by the way. Someone who I met who was very over filtered on her Instagram. And then when I met her in real life, I actually didn't know that they were the same two people. So meanwhile, audiences are scrolling past you and you don't want that. Here's what works. Honestly, curated, thoughtful content, value-led content, humanizing content, storytelling, storytelling, storytelling. You've got to be able to tell stories that add value. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It can be messier. Here's the thing, like sometimes when I create a really well-produced podcast video on YouTube, the stuff that I record in my own home performs better. And it's not perfect. And it's cost me way less, let me tell you that. People don't follow brands, they follow people. That's what I'm all about, personal branding. So the quick fix really here is to show your work, not just your wins. I did that recently on a post. Share behind the scenes content, struggles, moments of who you are, and things that have worked and that haven't worked. So here's the thing, being transparent isn't a weakness, it's a magnet, and it draws people to you. Mistake number 4, you're everyone's understudy. So what do I mean by that? Is you're copying instead of curating and creating. You see someone really successful and think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to do what they're going to do. Or, I'm going to copy their brands or their fonts, or you're reading the same books and then you're copying the same things. The world doesn't need another Gary Vaynerchuk. It needs you as you. And you have to find the confidence to show up as you. Otherwise, you're another tribute band. And I don't want you to be that. So this is your opportunity. Fix your unique angle. You've got to try different things. What's your weird hobby? What's your unconventional opinion? What are all the things that you like doing that you can bring into your content? I built my brand by combining luxury fashion, entrepreneurship, storytelling, personal branding, and being unapologetically me. I bring in my gym journey. I bring in my sober curious journey. They're all things I'm constantly learning. So what is your unique intersection on where your personal brand lives? Number 5 is you are emotionally constipated. Now, what do I mean by this? Is you're afraid to make people feel something. That is so important. Your personal brand is how you make people feel online and offline. And there's so many different ways that you can communicate. Do not just share facts, tips, data, all valuable but forgettable. Do you know what people remember? How you made them feel. So the story about you quitting before you had your massive breakthrough, or the client who changed everything for you, the moment that you realized that you were meant for more. I've gone into detail in another video about how I completely reinvented my life at 35 years old when I thought everything was about to change for the worse. And you know what? It just got so much better. The link's below. Stories just aren't nice to have. They're the difference between being heard and being remembered, being memorable. So Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. I had to write that down so I didn't get the quote wrong. So the fix is that every piece of content that you put out should make people feel something. Inspired, entertained, makes them think about themselves, challenged, understood, angry. If your content doesn't trigger an emotion, I think it's not content. It's actually more just noise. So I get it. I have at some point in my last 2 decades of being in business done many of these mistakes, if not all of them. I mean, in the fashion industry, to have that perfectly curated Instagram feed, I spent way too much time on that. So I've been there. I've also spent years playing it safe. I've told you. I believe by getting real, showing up as me, honestly, has changed my business more than anything else. And I've attracted the most incredible opportunities, clients, chances to inspire people, and just live life on my terms, but doing what I absolutely love. And I know that you can do that as well. And it's not because I'm perfect. Let me tell you, far from it. I just became real, more real if that's even possible. So here's one thing that I want you to do now is pick one of those mistakes and I want you to go, how are you going to fix it? Comment below. Tell me how you want to fix it this week. I'll go in and have a little look at your Instagram page or your YouTube page or your LinkedIn even if you fixed it, but only if you fixed it. And if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the page. I am loving creating these videos on building your confidence, talking about personal branding and all the things that I've learned over the years and how I can empower you to do the same. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye for now.